Hi guys, my goodness, what the hell. Now, I just wanted to put together a few thoughts I had on what's come to pass, Donald Trump becoming President of the United States once again. And I was wrong. I was wrong because I put my trust in experts. I quoted a man called Alan Lichtman, who has been correct about pretty much every election since 1984, bar 2000. And he had predicted, using his model, Kamala Harris victory. And he was wrong. Very wrong. Now, the polls were also wrong, but then the polls are always wrong. But we expect the experts to be right, not the politicians or the pollsters. That's a major problem. That's a major problem for me, because I keep banging on about listening to experts over politicians on this channel. So that's something I'm going to have to revisit. Now, I keep saying that elections are referendi on the incumbent. And my gut was telling me that the Democrats would lose it. But my head was telling me that Kamala Harris would win because I was listening to the experts. So sometimes maybe we need to go with our gut. Now, elections are generally lost, not won. So the Democrats lost this election and lost massively. They have to go away and they have to have a think about why they lost. But I want to bring up somebody who said something very clever many years ago, a comedian called George Carlin. And he said, the public are to blame. Now, this is not something that politicians will ever say, and it's not something very popular. But the public are to blame here. Anti-immigration sentiment, for example, is something that exists in society. And politicians can only take advantage of that if people don't switch on their brains. George Carlin said that politicians don't fall from the sky, I'm paraphrasing here, or don't spring out of the ground. They come from the general public. So if the politicians are crap, it's probably because the general public are crap. Too many people are happy to blame immigrants or minorities of any sort on their problems. I can't get a job, well, it's because of the immigrants. I can't get a GP appointment because of foreigners. And of course, politicians tap into that anger. And the general public need to take a step back, as I often say, and think about it critically. Is it the immigrant's fault that I can't get a GP appointment? Is it the immigrant's fault that I can't get a job? Now, Trump was able to appeal to young men who disliked the current world they live in. This feeling was, of course, reinforced by social media and commentators online as well. They fed this. They felt this resentment towards the world they occupy at the moment. They feel, and of course feelings are not the same as reality, but they feel that everything and everyone is against them. And then in steps somebody like Donald Trump who'll say, I'm on your side. Now, you're going to hear from political commentators and maybe even the Democrats themselves, while the Democrats are licking their wounds, how they should have maybe pandered more to racists and bigots in different states around the US, or they should have pandered to some certain demographics or certain groups. No, they would not have won if they did that. The problem, once again, is the public. The public have switched off their brains and decided we're going to vote for somebody who speaks my language, who gives me easy answers to difficult questions. You know, people back in 2016 voted for Donald Trump because they believed he was going to shake things up. But this time round, it seems he's won the popular vote. His support has gone up since 2016, not down. This is not, let's give him a try, let's experiment. This is people who liked what they saw from 2016 to 2020 and want more of it. This is a major problem. This is not just a problem for the Democrats. This is a problem for society. Now, there are some silver linings which I'll get to in just a moment. But what does all this mean for the US economy? Trump was talking about imposing tariffs on all imports. Now, this, of course, would drive up inflation, which be, of course, a problem for the US. And he will not be a friend of the UK, irrespective of what Nigel Farage or Reform UK have to say. This will be damaging to British exports. Now, what does it also mean for Ukraine? Well, Trump has said that he would have peace straight away. He would do a deal with Vladimir Putin. Now, it wouldn't be Trump doing the deal. It would be the Ukrainian government doing the deal. But what is Trump talking about? It's likely that he would cut funding for Ukraine and he would force some sort of settlement. Now, would that be in the interest of Ukrainians? Of course not. It would be in the interest of Donald Trump. Everything Trump does is in the interest of Donald Trump. Maybe the voters will eventually find that out, in 4 years' time. What does it mean for Gaza? We've heard a lot of rhetoric about why Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were a disaster, and that's true. But Trump is not going to be any better, potentially much worse, because he's going to double down on support for Netanyahu. He's going to say to Netanyahu, do whatever the hell you want. You have my backing. I'm not going to send troops, I'm not going to send aircraft or whatever, but I'm not going to stand in your way. Now, many people will see very little difference there, but if the goal was to give Joe Biden and Kamala Harris a bloody nose by voting for Donald Trump, I don't see how that's going to work out to the benefit of the people of Gaza or Lebanon. Now, I said there may be a silver lining here. And I get back to the point of elections are referendums on the incumbent. So, at the time of the recording of this video, it seemed Trump may be also winning the House of Representatives and the Senate. So this would mean he would have total control over everything. He would be able to do as he wishes. This would mean that if the economy does not improve, if ordinary people don't see a material improvement in their lives, they're going to kick him out in 4 years' time. Maybe they're going to kick out his party in 2 years' time. See, this is a problem, and I've mentioned it before, for the far right. They prefer to be sitting on the sidelines talking about how they would do things better, because as soon as they get into power, they have to take responsibility for their actions. Because Trump will not be able to say, well, it's the media's fault or it's immigrants' fault or whatever, because he will be in total control. It's easier for him to sit on the outside saying the incumbent is doing everything wrong than when he gets into power and he's not able to fix the problems that he said he would fix. He has said that he would fix everything. For example, he has control over the domestic economy, but he has limited control over the global economy. So his ability to improve the quality of life of ordinary people in the US will be limited. Not completely, but it will be limited. So any political strategy over the next 4 years from the Democrats must be to point the finger at Trump and say he's not improving things. Now, the economy was improving over the last 4 years, but the people, the ordinary people on the street, your average person, didn't feel that. So the question the Democrats have to be asking Trump and his administration and the public is, are things getting better over the next 4 years? Ironically, the kryptonite to the far right is power, because power comes with responsibility. And if you're in total control, you can't blame anyone else. You can try, but if the situation does not improve for ordinary people, they will kick you out. So Trump may be in charge now. He may be in charge of the Congress, he may be in charge of the Senate, the House of Representatives and the Senate. And if he's not able to improve the quality of life of ordinary people, then they will remove him, unless he ends elections or something like that. Okay, this video went on for a little bit longer than I expected, but I think it's a dark period, of course, for the American public at the moment. Someone who has committed crimes, a convicted felon, a narcissist, the worst type of person you would want in the White House, is back there once again. But ordinary people now have to consider what's going to be better. This guy has promised to fix things. He promised to make America great again. If he doesn't achieve that, then we are within our rights to have him removed, to kick him out in 4 years' time. And anyone who is engaging in politics needs to point these things out, need to say to the public, have things improved? And if they haven't, who is to blame? And don't let Donald Trump blame immigrants or the media. Donald Trump is in control. He has to take responsibility for that. I think that can be the only silver lining here. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.